All right, let's dive right into this. Starting a business, it's not just about coming up with a cool idea or, printing up some flashy business cards. It is literally a high-stakes race for financial survival. You might have a million ideas just swirling around in your head, but what you really need is a solid blueprint. So today, in this explainer, we're going to map out that exact blueprint, and we're going to put a massive focus on the one mathematical finish line you absolutely have to cross if you want to survive: calculating your break-even point. But okay, before we get to the math, we really need to talk about the reality of the track we're running on here: 50%. That's right, half of all new businesses fail within their first 5 years. It's a completely staggering statistic, isn't it? And when you actually dig into the data, it points to two massive culprits for this crazy failure rate: a total lack of product market fit and just utterly poor cash flow management. Basically, people build things that nobody actually wants, and then they completely run out of money doing it. So, how do we avoid becoming part of that 50%? Well, we need to reframe your entire startup journey as this highly strategic, super focused sprint toward one ultimate safe zone. And that safe zone? It's your break-even point. Literally everything we talk about today, from what you're selling to exactly who you're selling it to how you manage your bank account, all of it is designed to get you over this specific finish line before your resources just dry up. Section 1. The blueprint to start. Listen, you really don't need to reinvent the wheel when you're picking a business model, but you absolutely do need to filter your options through 4 key variables: your initial costs, the required skills, scalability, and time to market. And this brilliantly illustrates the difference. Think about a software business. It's highly scalable to thousands of users, usually with super low variable costs. Now contrast that with 101 consulting, where your income is strictly capped by the actual hours in your day. For beginners, an online business is often the smartest vehicle, simply because it's so much faster to launch and way cheaper to test. Section 2. Solving real customer problems. Now, bridging that massive gap from absolute zero to your break-even goal, that requires offering a rock-solid value proposition for a real problem. Just look at how Airbnb pulled this off. The founders noticed this incredible intersection of two massive problems in San Francisco. On one hand, travelers had absolutely zero affordable hotel options, and on the other, local homeowners had these empty rooms that were generating zero value. They took a totally widespread inconvenience and flipped it into a billion-dollar opportunity. You've got to identify the problem first, and then build your unique selling proposition around it. Section 3. Passing the survival test. Because here's the thing, having a great solution in theory, it just isn't enough. You have to pass the ultimate survival test, which is known in the biz as product market fit. Remember, missing this is the #1 reason businesses fail. So how do you actually test if people want to pull out their hard-earned cash without you going completely broke in the process? Well, first, you launch a minimum viable product, just a really stripped-down, simplified version of your idea. Second, adapt quickly. Seriously, sometimes a tiny little tweak in your pricing or design is all it takes to click. And third, you've got to talk directly to your customers. Watch what they actually do, not just what they say they'll do. In fact, I really want you to imagine asking your early customers this exact question. If this product were to just shut down tomorrow, how disappointed would you be? This is the famous Sean Ellis method, and it is a total game changer. If less than 40% of your respondents say they would be extremely disappointed, well, your product market fit simply isn't there yet. It means you absolutely need to go back to the drawing board before you burn through all your cash. Section 4. Calculating your break-even point. Okay, so assuming you finally nailed that perfect product market fit, it is time to zero in on the exact finish line of our survival race. Yep, the focus of this whole explainer, your break-even point. So the crucial point is, this is the exact magical moment when the money coming in perfectly covers all of your expenses. You're not losing money anymore, but hey, you aren't exactly making money yet either. However, from that single moment onward, every subsequent sale you make is pure profit. This one single number dictates your pricing, it tells you if your business model is actually sustainable, and it literally maps out your survival. Now, don't panic, the math here is actually way simpler than you might think. First up, you take your fixed costs. The things you have to pay no matter what happens, like your software subscriptions or your monthly rent. Next, look at your average price per unit, and from that, you subtract your variable costs, which is just what it costs you to produce that one specific unit. Finally, you just divide your fixed costs by that remaining number. And the result? That is the exact total sales revenue you need to generate to cover the whole shebang. That number right there is your target. It's your ultimate finish line. Section 5. Cash flow is king. All right, flash a massive warning sign right here on the track, guys. Because even if you know your exact break-even target, you can absolutely still crash and burn. Why? Because cash flow is king. Just imagine this scenario for a second. You're looking at your spreadsheet, and technically you are $10,000 in profit this month. You're celebrating, right? But hold on a second. Your clients have 90-day payment terms, which means that money, it isn't actually in your bank account yet. Meanwhile, your suppliers are knocking on the door demanding $10,000 in cold, hard cash today. So you're profitable on paper, sure, but you have zero cash in the bank. That kind of cash crunch, it will literally kill your business overnight. To avoid that nightmare, you need a super simple formula to calculate your real available cash. Let's move to a real-world e-commerce example and see how this builds. Say you start the month with $2,000 in cash, and you're expecting about $8,000 in sales. From that, you've got to subtract your fixed and variable costs. Let's call it $4,500. Then, and this is crucial, you must subtract the $1,000 you have to set aside for taxes. Don't forget Uncle Sam. Applying this step-by-step logic leaves you with exactly $4,500 in true available cash at the end of the month. You have to be tracking this constantly. And honestly, that brings us to the ultimate golden rule of startup finance. First, build a business that generates income, then buy the Lambo. I know, it sounds funny, but it is deadly serious. The very second you start making a profit past that break-even point, do not go upgrading your lifestyle. No way. You absolutely have to reinvest those profits straight back into growth and build up a cash buffer that covers a good 3 to 6 months of operating expenses. So just to summarize your financial guardrails during this crazy race, number one, you've got to open a separate business bank account immediately to avoid total tax chaos. Number two, set a crystal clear initial budget so you know exactly what you're actually investing in. Number three, track your daily cash inflows and outflows. Seriously, just a simple spreadsheet works absolute wonders here. And number four, whatever you do, never tie up too much of your vital cash in excess inventory or investments that aren't going to be immediately productive. Finally, you know you can have a perfectly calculated break-even point and a totally flawless cash flow spreadsheet, but you still need fuel to actually run the race. And that fuel? It's marketing. Especially for online businesses that don't have a physical storefront, marketing is literally the only way you're going to get noticed out there. It's kind of an uncomfortable truth, but you have to remember this. A mediocre product with the right marketing behind it will almost always outperform an excellent product that has terrible marketing, for sure. So, there we have it. We've covered the business model, nailing that product market fit, the absolutely crucial math of calculating your break-even point, and exactly how to protect your cash flow. You now have the complete blueprint to survive the race. So I'm going to leave you with this one thought. Look at the world around you right now. What problem are you going to solve first?